for a kid's birthday party. And if the photo's not bad enough, the mystery behind it is so much worse. And a reminder before I dive in that if you like all things spooky and true crime, check out my podcast. There's a link to it in my profile. So in the 1940s, the McLaren family in Houston, Texas was having a birthday party for their daughter, Rose. They hired a clown for the party, but an hour before the party started, they get a call from the company saying that the clown they hired was no longer available. They were going to send someone else in his place. And the parents were like, okay, fine, whatever. But then this man shows up to the party. And the kids are all terrified of him. No one really wants to take photos. The man stayed at the party for about 20 minutes and then just disappeared. But get this. After he left, the clown that they hired showed up to the party. And he apologized for being late. And the mother is like, what are you doing here? You canceled on us. And the clown's like, no, I didn't. And it was at that moment that one of the parents noticed that this little boy pictured here was missing. The little boy was never found, and the identity of this man remains a mystery even today.
How serial killers got caught, part 13. In this video, we're going to be talking about Israel Keyes, who operated between 2011 to 2012. It's believed that he has 3 victims at least, but that number could be 11 or more. For Israel, there wasn't really any specific location in which he committed his crimes. He committed them all across the country. As a quote-unquote successful serial killer, you wouldn't have expected him to get caught in the manner in which he did. Israel got caught after using his last victim's debit card at an ATM. Obviously, debit cards are extremely easy to track, and when police pulled up, footage of him using the card at the ATM, they found out what vehicle he was driving. A state trooper then later recognized the vehicle with Israel in it, and he got arrested. He was never sentenced, however, because he took his own life while awaiting trial. Follow for part 14.
Do you believe in coincidences? In 1975, a young boy of 17 lost his life in a tragic accident while riding his moped. Shockingly, this accident occurred exactly 1 year after when his 17-year-old brother met the same fate, riding the same moped, in the same intersection, at the hands of the same taxi driver, carrying the same passenger. The devastating story of Skin and Neville, the twin brothers, is an unbelievable tale of coincidence. The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in his car triggered the onset of World War I. Notably, the license plate number of the car he was traveling in was a 11-11-18. Interestingly, November 11, 1918 was the exact date on which World War I came to an end. Now let me ask you again.
This is the horrifying story of why you should never work a graveyard shift. In 2017, a young woman worked at a Regal movie theater in Cobb County, Georgia. The movie theater was located in an area that wasn't very populated, therefore there wouldn't be that many visitors. On this specific day, it was a weekend night where the young woman would be working a graveyard shift. The young woman was in charge of cleaning up after the movies had finished, but since it was late at night, the movie theater was practically dead, meaning there wasn't that much cleaning needed to do. The young woman's shift was basically over when the phone at the front ticket desk started to ring. After saying hello into the phone twice, some creepy distant sounding voice asked the young woman what time they were open till. The woman replied back and said the midnight screening ends at 2 a.m. The man on the other side of the phone whispered back saying, "I'll see you soon." The young woman was creeped out by this guy, so she had just hung up the phone. The woman went back to the ticket concession stand to scroll through Instagram and whatnot, but she was rudely interrupted when the phone started ringing again. The woman didn't want to answer the phone because she most likely knew that it was going to be the same sketchy guy from last time. The woman answered the phone anyways, and just like the first time, she didn't get a response until the second hello. As the woman expected, it was the same guy, and this time he whispered into his phone saying, "I'll see you soon." The young woman replied back and said, "Sir, there's no point in coming, the movie already started, I won't even be able to give you a ticket." The woman hung up the phone and realized that there was people leaving the movie theater, most likely meaning that the movie had ended. So the woman grabbed her cleaning supplies and started to clean up the movie theater. After cleaning the bathrooms, all the young woman had left was to clean the theater, and that wouldn't be very hard because there was very few people there. The woman grabbed her broom and started scanning the aisles for trash and wrappers. It would have been a quick cleanup, but she never finished it. The woman had heard a freakish giggle sound only a few aisles away from her. The woman immediately ran out of the theater and back to the front lobby where she heard the phone ringing. The woman had answered the phone, and without saying anything, it was the same creepy guy, and this time he said, "Why'd you leave the theater?" The woman immediately hung up the phone and called the police, telling them to get there as fast as they can. When the police had arrived, there was no track of this creepy person inside of the movie theater. But what the police did find, though, was the phone number that was calling this young woman. It had been one of her close friends this whole time, named Joe. So immediately, the young woman called her friend Joe Peterson immediately, but she didn't get an answer. So the next day, the young woman went to her friend Joe's house, and she had found out that he had lost his phone. So whoever had been calling her this whole time was a random person who had found Joe's phone. After this event, the woman quit her job working at the movie theater.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 31. Ever since she was a little girl, Jewel Shuping wanted to be blind. So in 2006, she poured drain cleaner in her eyes and blinded herself permanently, and now she says that she's happier than ever. Thanks to FDA regulations, only 10 insects and 35 fruit fly eggs are allowed in a single box of raisins. Cavities are actually contagious, and they can be passed from one person to another by kissing or sharing food. If you've ever donated blood, that blood could be in someone else's boner right now. The man in this photo is an American college student named Otto Warmbier, who's begging for mercy as he's on trial for allegedly stealing a poster in North Korea. Luckily, he returned back to the US, but he had irreversible brain damage, dying just 6 days later. In May of 2016, 11-year-old Elizabeth Gilreath was enjoying her time at an amusement park when her hair became caught, causing her to become scalped.
These things are oddly terrifying. Starting off with number 1, we have this monstrosity right here. Plumbers will often find a lot of really weird things in pipes and on jobs, but I think that this definitely takes the cake. Presumably this is a pair of dentures that's blocking up some toilet paper in the piping, but it just looks really weird. In at number 2, we have this photo, which was taken about a mile into like this labyrinth of sewers. So this means that somebody went down into the sewers, over a mile into the sewers, through all these corridors and decided to write this. Really concerning. I would not go any further. And finally, in at number 1, I bet you guys did not know that this is what the inside of a turtle's mouth looks like. Certainly not something I would want to get bit by, and I'm glad that turtles are not bigger. Follow for the next part.
What are some of the craziest things that people have confessed to at the end of their lives? Well, in this series, I'm going to show you some of the wildest stories I found. And I cover all sorts of spooky and true crime stuff on this page, so make sure you follow along. So this story comes from a woman who was helping her mother at the end of her mother's life. The woman actually lived in Europe, but her mom lived in China, so when she got the call that her mother wasn't doing very well, she made the long journey all the way back. And right when she gets there, her mother asks all the doctors and nurses to leave the room. She apparently wanted to be absolutely alone with her daughter. So the daughter's like, "What's up? Are you okay?" And the mom tells her she knows she doesn't have a lot of time left, so there's something she really wants to tell her. Her mother proceeds to tell her that she's not actually her biological mother. And obviously this comes as like a huge shock to the daughter, but it's nothing compared to what came next. The mother proceeds to tell her that when she was younger, she really wanted to have her own kids, but unfortunately she just wasn't able to get pregnant. And not only that, but she didn't have a lot of money, so going through an adoption agency wasn't necessarily an option. So she actually bought the daughter off the black market for adopted children in China, meaning she didn't know if the daughter's adopted parents gave her up willingly or if someone had taken her to put her on the black market. The mother actually passed away just shortly after that, and we haven't gotten any update from the poster if she got any more information on her biological family.
A group of friends were hiking in Virginia when they hear something inside the forest.
hold.
No, hold on.
I'm
Chill.
going first.
Oh, nah, go first. I'm about to take a picture of it. You gotta get lower than that. Look at him move.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, it's about to catch something. Y'all ready to go back?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Yo, what the fuck is that? Look, in scary movies, this one they say, yo, listen.
Wait. Wait, how y'all roll before we do? Wait.
This is the face of Ronald Papo, a homeless man who's been brutally attacked by a living zombie. On May 26, 2012, he loses his eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, and face to a man named Rudy Eugene. 80% of his face is eaten on the side of a highway in Miami, Florida, and authorities assume the suspect is having a bad trip due to a new drug on the market that turns people into real-life zombies. However, when the test results come back, the drug report stuns everyone involved. I've done a full breakdown of the case here, and
This is the most deadliest article of clothing ever. These are shark skin gloves made from the skin of the basking shark. The catch is, once you put them on, you can't take them off. The inside of the gloves are lined with hundreds of thorns, and removing them would give you the sensation of 10,000 fishhooks tearing away at your skin. And I'm not just exaggerating, that is what his website actually says. The creator of these deadly gloves is artist and fashion designer Sruli Rekt, based out of Iceland. Named a lasting impression on his website and sold for around $720. The description of the gloves says this: the gloves are a lifelong commitment once a person wears them. You can put the gloves on, but to remove them would mean to cut them. Gloves for life or for one wear. The ultimate and final commitment. And these shark skin gloves aren't even close to the craziest thing he's ever made. If you think those are crazy, just wait until I show you the ring he made out of his own stomach skin.
Used for science experiments? I would say so.
This is a YouTube video posted by someone calling himself Funky Fathead.
You can see a much more stable fracture.
He says he's using a computerized tone generator to open a vortex, a portal in time and space. The video caught the attention of this man who posts videos from his home in England. He calls himself Hidden Underbelly.
He went on to experiment with portals and sound frequencies.
Hidden Underbelly spoke to us via Facebook messaging after this video racked up more.
Did you know that in hell, Lucifer is supported by 6 other demons who rule hell together with him, including the demon Beelzebub, who is called the Lord of the Flies? Let me explain. In different works of literature, Beelzebub is considered to be one of the 7 princes of hell. In the book Admirable History, Beelzebub is said to have been a prince of the seraphim, which are the highest ranking angels, and was expelled from heaven along with Lucifer and now rules over hell. According to the book of Abramelin, Beelzebub is one of the 8 sub-princes of hell who helped the 4 princes of demons rule over hell and the demons that reside there. In the treatise on confessions by evildoers and witches, Beelzebub is said to be the personification of the sin of gluttony. And most interestingly, in the Book of Kings, Beelzebub is said to be the god of the Philistines. Fun fact, it was actually the book Dictionnaire in Feral which gives Beelzebub the name the Lord of the Flies.
Can I show you a scary video? No, because this video literally made me jump. And it also had a bunch of news articles written about it. Personally, I found this video during my Twitch stream through one of their videos, La Huella del Terror. Apparently, this video comes from South Africa, and it was posted on August 29th, 2022. So in the video, a couple starts to hear strange sounds at 3 a.m., and then this happens.
Baby. Baby, come on, see. Baby, baby. Babe. See, one. It's only. Shh, come on, see. What's that? Baby. It's a jungle.
This nun was the only woman in history to have her head put on a spike at London Bridge. Hello, we're back in one of London's many graveyards, and what are graveyards full of? Yes, bodies, but also stories. So this is Greyfriars Churchyard, and it's home to the tragic figure of Elizabeth Barton. Now, Barton started life as your regular old 16th century peasant, but at 19 she started having visions of the future, predicting events such as the death of a child or the dangers of leaving the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church agreed, and soon she would become a professional nun, attracting pilgrims from far and wide to hear her visions. This soon attracted the attention of people in high places, and she was even brought before Henry VIII. Now, at the time, Elizabeth's prophecies condemned rebellion, which Henry couldn't agree more with, but then she started predicting that if the king got a divorce, he would die within a month and props go to hell, which Henry, famous lover of having multiple wives, was less of a fan of. Following a smear campaign to discredit her, Elizabeth was arrested and executed on the 20th of April for treason. Henry, keen to make an example of her, had her head put on a spike at London Bridge, but her body was buried right here in Greyfriars.
These things are oddly terrifying. In at number 1, it's kind of hard to tell what this photo is, but it's rubber gloves being washed. When the washing machine was opened, however, this is what the rubber gloves look like, and it kind of looks like a portal to hell. Starting off light, this is probably like a 5 out of 10 on the oddly terrifying scale. Let's move on to number 2. In at number 2, we have this Shrek window climber. Super odd toy. I don't know where this person found this, but you know, this is definitely pretty concerning to look at. We're gonna give this guy like a 6 out of 10. And in at number 3, we all know yawning is contagious, but this yawn right here does not make me want to yawn, it makes me want to run. Follow.
I'm sorry, bud. Do you mind if I talk to her again? Okay, I'm gonna bring Kyle in here with you, okay?
This is 16-year-old Kyle Hooper, Amber Wright's half-brother. He's just finished a grueling one-on-one interview with a detective and is clearly distressed.
Both your kids are in a thing for murder.
Number 2?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Well, we told you it was in the store. I mean, it was like everything was planned.
With Roach, everybody?
Everybody.
Admitting that everything was planned is extremely important because it proves mens rea, premeditated criminal intent. So not only has Kyle essentially admitted to murder on videotape, he's also admitted to a specific degree of murder. First-degree murder.
We're gone.
They took my phone.
Everything's gone. James is on it too.
On what? Is it on this?
Now Kyle has also unexpectedly implicated his stepfather, James Havens III, stating that he is in on it too. Kyle Hooper, much like his sister, has told detectives